Tonight, on First at 9 this Sunday the 25th of May 2025. Power struggle. Only the NPP has the mandate to establish power at local government institutions, declares the President. Urges NPP local government representatives to stand firm against a resurgence of elitist politics. An independent group from the Mathugama Pradeshya Sabha pledges support for the SJB, giving the party a majority. Security collaboration. No nation can safeguard its security in isolation, says the Indian High Commissioner. Adds that the situation in Pahalgam must not derail regional growth. Unexpected outbreak. Sri Lanka reports a chikungunya outbreak, its first in nearly 16 years. The government is ramping up efforts to curb the spread of both chikungunya and dengue, says the Deputy Health Minister. So Sri Lanka welcomes over 90,000 tourists so far in the month of May, signalling continued growth in the tourism sector.
Cine Campus Open Day. May masa 3 වෙනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට Cine Campus පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9, brought to you by the nation's most trusted news source, Derana. I'm Tharindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. In your top story this evening, President Anura Dissanayake claims that only the ruling National People's Power holds the mandate to establish authority at local government institutions. Speaking at a meeting with NPP local government representatives, the President urged them to lead their respective electorates with confidence and not be discouraged by the actions of opposition factions. A meeting of local government representatives of the National People's Power was held today at the Temple Trees under the patronage of President Anura Dissanayake.
පළාත් පාලන ආයතන 152ක් මන්ත්‍රීවරු ගැසට් කර විගසම
We can establish 152 local government councils as soon as the names of the councillors are gazetted. We have already been asked to submit the names of the chairpersons and deputy chairpersons, and we will be sending them shortly. As a single political movement, we have the highest number of local government MPs. Although we are behind in some areas, we will establish councils in the remaining 115 institutions as well. That is what democracy is. There is no mandate for any other political group made up of remnants of past regimes to collectively establish councils. We have the people's mandate. If they attempt any underhanded tactics, we will assert our rightful power in those councils as well. In front of us stands an inexperienced political camp. They are so unqualified that I have seen them appointing their own presidents and prime ministers arbitrarily. They speak of forming governments in such a manner. Do not be misled by such talk. Even some of our own supporters get nervous just hearing their rhetoric. But there's no need to be. We should only be concerned if we are challenged by a camp that is truly stronger than us, which would be a good thing in some ways. So to all our MPs, you are the leaders of your respective villages. Stand firm. I sense some nervousness these days, but don't be shaken. They cannot do anything. We are firmly grounded in the right place. Let's move forward from that point. We must stand strong to prevent the return of politics driven by racism, elitism, violence, and the misuse of political funds for luxury. This is the government that will take the country forward. The NPP government is a government of the people.
ඉදිරිගාමී බලවේගය මේ රට ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන බලවේගය ජාතික ජන බලවේගය මේක තමයි අපි ආණ්ඩුව.
Meanwhile, an independent group elected to the Mathugama Pradeshya Sabha declared support for the Samagi Jana Balavege today, granting the SJB the support of a majority of the local government body's councillors. However, several electorate organisers of the SJB have been resigning in recent days, citing injustices in nominating additional list members for the council seats secured by the party in the local government elections.
The National People's Power secured victory in the Mathugama Pradeshya Sabha during the recent local government elections, winning 13 seats. Meanwhile, only 10 members were elected from the Samagi Jana Balavege, while 4 members were elected from the independent group number 1. The 4 members of Independent Group Number 1 who were elected to the Matugama Pradeshiya Sabha expressed their support for the Samagya Jana Balawegaya today following a meeting with opposition leader Sajith Premadasa at the SJB headquarters.
A prominent decision was made today. The most decisive force in Matugama Pradeshiya Sabha was with the independent group. The group joined with the SJB today. Now the SJB has secured 100% authority over the Matugama Pradeshiya Sabha. We contested the election to develop the Matugama area and serve justice to the Pradeshiya Sabha. In order to perform this task, we joined the SJB today.
Meanwhile, several electorate organisers of the Samagya Jana Balawegaya resigned from their positions in the past few days due to issues that arose in the nomination of additional list members for local government institutions.
They have altered the criteria used to grant council seats from one Pradeshiya Sabha to another. I stepped down from the opposition of district organizer as a result of these futile decisions. However, I do not intend to continue my political journey by joining another political party. I will remain a member of the SJB.
Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Santosh Jha says that the situation in Pahalgam, India should not hinder regional growth or India's development. Joining our current affairs program at Hyde Park with Indivara Amuwatta, the Indian High Commissioner further commented on the defence agreement with Sri Lanka, emphasising that no nation can ensure its security in isolation. He added that Sri Lanka and India share mutual respect for each other's security interests.
How do we look at India's commitment here really to bringing a concerted effort to bring parties in the region as well to combat terrorism and extremism in the interest of regional peace, stability and ensuring harmony?
We are part of several UN and global frameworks that deal with terrorism, and we are very committed to working with all countries in the world to deal with not just terrorism but the extremism that leads to that kind of action and the radicalization that is happening. And there are many frameworks already existing that have been working in this area, and we have been cooperating with those frameworks for several decades now. The trouble is that we need to further strengthen them, activate them even more, and make them more energetic in order to get the kind of response that you are seeking. Unfortunately, this has had no impact on Pakistan, that it has continued to nurture and support and finance and perpetrate and transfer terrorists across to India as a state policy. That remains the big problem. How do you deal with it? If there is a solution to it, by now we should have found it.
How the situation, the tensions over the Pahalgam attacks are going to shape the region, and what this escalation or de-escalation is going to look like in the future?
I don't think we need to exaggerate the impact and this instability, because we are a much larger region. We have a very large population. Even in India, much of the economic activity continues as usual. India is moving on its objective of building its economy even stronger and bigger. We are the 5th largest economy right now. Before the end of this year, be the 4th largest and soon be the 3rd largest. I don't think we need to create a sense of alarm that this is something really destabilizing and majorly sort of disruptive of the prospects of the countries in the region. The worry is that the continuation of the policy of terrorism as a state policy by one state in the region against the other. And this is absolutely horrific when you do it to your neighbors.
Is India content with Sri Lanka's compliance to India's requests for defense and military cooperation, as well as maritime security, concerning India's security as well?
It's not a question of satisfaction. I think it is like you're putting a benchmark that we are putting across to you that you must satisfy for us to be happy. I don't think partners work on that basis. Partners work in a cooperative and consultative manner. It is for us to look at each other's concerns and sensitivities and respect that and help the other country, other side with that.
Is there sufficient respect from the Sri Lankan side?
I think there is sufficient respect from Indian side for Sri Lankan concerns, and there is equally strong concern from Sri Lanka for Indian concerns. So security is very interlinked. We are not secure alone. If there is insecurity in Sri Lanka, there is insecurity in India, and if there is insecurity in India, there will be insecurity in Sri Lanka. The President was very clear when he went to India, and in his many public statements here as well. He explicitly mentioned that neither side will do anything that is inimical to the security interest of the other side, whether it is on land, air or sea. So this encapsulates in a beautiful way the very, very equal partnership that we have in this area.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of India's National Institution for Transforming India, BVR Subramaniam, announced that India has officially overtaken Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy. Speaking at a press conference following the 10th NITI Aayog Governing Council meeting, Subramaniam stated that India is now a $4 trillion economy supported by a favourable geopolitical and economic condition. Earlier, the International Monetary Fund had projected that India, then the fifth largest economy, would surpass Japan with a GDP of $4.19 trillion in 2025. Citing IMF data, Subramaniam confirmed that only the United States, China and Germany now rank above India. He also projected that if India maintains its current trajectory, it could become the world's third largest economy within the next 3 years. According to the IMF, India's nominal GDP for 2025 is expected to reach approximately $4.187 trillion, slightly ahead of Japan's estimated GDP.
සිනෙක් කැම්පස් ඕපන් ඩේ මැයි මස 3 වැනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට සිනෙක් කැම්පස් පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Winston Peters arrived in Sri Lanka last night, marking the first visit by a New Zealand Foreign Minister to the island since 2013. The New Zealand Deputy Prime Minister was welcomed at Bandaranaike International Airport by Sri Lanka's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Arun Hemachandra. During his 4-day visit concluding on May 28th, Peters is scheduled to meet with President Anura Dissanayake, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya and Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath. Discussions will focus on enhancing bilateral cooperation in trade, investment, agriculture, education, connectivity, tourism and sports. Peters is also expected to engage with the private sector and media representatives. Following his visit to Sri Lanka, Peters will continue his tour with official visits to India, Nepal and Australia. Before public outrage over the recent tragic death of an undergraduate of the Sabaragamu University has subsided, another similar incident was reported from Bingiriya today, where a second-year student of the Wayamba National College of Education had taken her own life. Her colleagues who launched a protest in front of the college alleged that psychological harassment by lecturers led to the tragedy.
A 24-year-old student of the Wayamba National College of Education recently took her own life at her dormitory. The deceased was identified as a second-year student of the college and a resident of Teldeniya, Kandy. The deceased student's colleagues alleged that the reason for her tragic decision was psychological harassment by college lecturers. The incident sparked a silent protest in front of the college yesterday, which continued into the night, with students calling on education authorities to take action to prevent such tragedies in the future. The protesting students also demanded that the dean address the issue and provide concrete solutions.
There is only a process that follows the traditions of colleges of education. Otherwise, there's nothing that puts extra stress on these students. I do not have information regarding that matter. However, the student had gone home 2 weeks before her death and had told her sisters that she did not want to live anymore.
ළමයා උස්සගෙන ඇවිල්ලා තමයි ගෙනියන්නේ වාහනයක් තිබිලා නැහැ ඩ්‍රයිවර්ස්ලා නැහැ දැන් ළමයි 700 ගාණක් ඉන්න තැන මේ අවම පහසුකම් තියන්න ඕන නේද සමහර වෙලාවට ඒ බඳු අතපසුවීම් වෙනවා අවස්ථාවකදී වගේ වුණත් වැඩිපුර අවස්ථාවලදී ළමයි ඉන්නවා අපි ඒ අදාළ වෛද්‍ය ප්‍රතිකාර ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා.
In the meantime, the police media division stated that the reason behind the incident has not been revealed as yet and that further investigations are currently underway. While attending the deceased student's funeral, the General Secretary of the Ceylon Teachers Union, Joseph Stalin, also commented on the incident.
Education authorities must look into the reason why there are many suicides in the education sector. We cannot continue these national colleges of education as slave camps. If there is unbearable stress in these colleges, it is a critical issue. The Ministry of Education must definitely conduct an investigation into this matter.
Sri Lanka is experiencing an outbreak of chikungunya after nearly 16 years. The United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a Level 2 travel notice in view of the chikungunya outbreaks in the Indian Ocean region, including Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Health Dr. Hansaka Wijayamuni said government has taken steps to control the spread of both chikungunya and dengue by implementing a national program to control mosquito populations.
Health authorities warn that the spread of dengue and chikungunya is on the rise amid the rainy weather brought about by the southwestern monsoon. Accordingly, authorities advise the public to remain vigilant of symptoms such as fever, joint pain, headache, muscle pain, joint swelling and rashes. As Sri Lanka is experiencing a significant chikungunya outbreak after 16 years, Professor Neelika Malavige of the Department of Immunology and Molecular Medicine at the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, following genomic sequencing, has discovered that the virus causing the current outbreak is of the Indian Ocean lineage with several unique mutations. Meanwhile, the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued a Level 2 travel notice in view of the chikungunya outbreak in the Indian Ocean region, including Sri Lanka. The CDC in its advisory recommends travelers visiting the region to get themselves vaccinated, protect themselves from mosquito bites, and recommends that pregnant travelers reconsider visiting affected areas. In the meantime, as the spread of dengue and chikungunya within the jurisdiction of the Yatinuwara Divisional Secretariat in Kandy has reached a dangerous level, a program to raise awareness in this regard was held at the Paladawa Temple in Kiribathkumbura Peradeniya yesterday under the patronage of Deputy Minister of Health Dr. Hansaka Wijayamuni. Subsequently, the area was cleaned up in a campaign conducted under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative.
Both dengue and chikungunya are spread by the same species of mosquito. They both may cause the same symptoms. However, administering chikungunya treatments to a dengue patient may cause the condition to worsen. Therefore, it is imperative to seek correct medical advice. What is more important is that both of these diseases can be prevented by reducing the mosquito population. There is a significant correlation between population density and the spread of the diseases. What needs to be done is to destroy mosquito breeding sites in urban and semi-urban areas. We can easily resolve this issue if all of us prevent mosquitoes from breeding in our own homes. Based on available data, we expect an increase in the number of dengue patients. We must work to prevent that. We implemented a national program to control the mosquito population.
Sri Lanka is grappling with a heartbreaking rise in deadly road accidents, with lives shattered, families broken and communities left searching for answers. Tonight we bring you these stories behind the headlines, the stories that demand urgent attention.
These accidents span from rural bends to urban junctions across the nation. But there's one aspect that many of them share: eerie yet unknown circumstances. The latest wave of tragic accidents and the stories connected with them have gripped our attention, moved hearts and stirred our souls. On May 10th, a collision on the Colombo-Kandy road resulted in 15 injuries. On May 11th, the bus accident in Kotmale resulted in 22 fatalities and left over 35 others severely injured. And most recently, on May 23rd, a private bus veered off, injuring 24 at the Nuwara Gampola main road. As the investigation into the tragic bus accident in Kotmale unfolds, authorities have so far found no evidence of mechanical failure, road defects or driver negligence leading to the accident. With multiple crashes occurring around the country, there are speculations and rumours of passengers hearing whispers in the fog and noises in the dark. These rumours were questioned and addressed by Minister Bimal Ratnayaka at a press conference.
මිනිස්සුන්ට හොයාගන්න බැරි දේවල් නෑ.
While it is easy to turn to supernatural beliefs, the real demons might be poor visibility, dangerous curves and distracted, overworked driving. Some call it coincidence, others blame the overworked drivers and speeding. But what if there's more? Transportation authorities shared the results of the investigations conducted so far.
The driver of this bus was a 40-year-old who does not consume alcohol and was healthy. According to our reports, the bus in question had been declared fit for operation. The road where the accident occurred is in generally good condition with no visible potholes or corrugations. There have been no recorded accidents in this area over the past 15 years, suggesting that it is not considered a high-risk zone for transportation.
These investigation results have everyone puzzled. In several cases, there's no evidence of driver error, no trace of speeding or braking too late. Are these just tragic accidents or warnings from something unseen? A system failure or the haunting cost of carelessness?
ඒ වගේම පසුගිය දිනවලදී ක්‍රියානතුරු වල යම් වර්ධනයක් අපිට නිරීක්ෂණය වුණා. ක්‍රියානතුරු පාලනය කර ගැනීම සඳහා ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිසිය විශේෂ මෙහෙයුම් අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම වසරේ මේ දක්වා කාලය තුළ ක්‍රියානතුරු මාරක ක්‍රියානතුරු 944ක් වාර්තා වෙනවා. ඉන් පුද්ගල හානි නැත්නම් පුද්ගලයන් ජීවිතක්ෂයට පත් වීමේ සිදුවීම් 1007ක් අපිට වාර්තා වෙනවා.
We asked a few drivers on their thoughts about the facilities provided for them.
උල්බඩේ ගිහිල්ලා පැය 4ක් තියෙනවා නිදාගන්න. එච්චර තමයි. ඊට පස්සේ ආපහු පාන්දර දෙක එන්න ඕන.
විවේකයක් නම් ඕනේ නැහැ. මෙහෙ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන පැය දෙක තුනට බස් එක්ක ඔය හරි අයිනක නවත්තලා ඒ ඉන්න පැය දෙක තුන টয়ලට් එකට ගිහිල්ලා නාගන කරගෙන ඉන්න පැය දෙක හරි තුන හරි ඒ ඉන්න තැනක පොඩ්ඩක් පහසුකම් හදලා දුන්නා නම් ඇත්ත.
අපි දුවන්නේ නල්ල දන්නේ කොළඹ. අමාරුයි තමයි තියන්නේ. ඒ මොනයි උනන්දුවෙන් තමයි ඉතින් වැඩේ කරගෙන යන්නේ.
Unless proper precautions are taken and the drivers are provided with necessary training and facilities to ensure road safety, these tragic accidents could see no end to them. We consulted with a leading academic expert in the field to provide insightful perspectives on the matter. How can Sri Lanka make travel safer?
Sri Lanka's death rate due to motor accidents is an alarming 1 in 40, and this keeps on. We can make our roads safer, but there are few things that need to be done. First is we need to make sure that the establishment is engaging in this as an epidemic. We need to get all the different professionals contributing through their scientific learnings to arrest this situation. The medical, the engineering, the transport, the economists, all of these are needed to bring about a change in the culture of road safety in Sri Lanka. As long as politicians decide what to do, politicians feel they understand the problem, as has been in the past, and they come up with solutions, I can assure you our safety record will remain as it is. Second intervention is that we want government to put more money into road safety. Presently, it is less than 0.2% of the money that is spent on the transport sector. Most of it goes to making more roads, better roads, but hardly anything goes to make our roads safer.
What valuable road safety lessons can Sri Lanka learn from other countries?
Take Sweden, for example, which in the year 2000 had a similar fatality rate from road accidents. They have reduced that by 85%. It's only 15% of what it was. And today it is less than 1 in 300. To Sweden, they started something called Vision Zero in the year 2000. A national orientation, a commitment to reduce accidents until they reach zero. Now Sri Lanka needs to have a safety culture inculcated into our society.
What can the government do to limit these accidents?
First is to bring about a culture of safety. Secondly, to ensure that adequate money is spent through the budget. Thirdly, to ensure that there is independent investigations that will even bring out lapses in the establishment that lead to accidents like this. And fourthly, ensure that the people who are responsible for safety are trained adequately or hire people who have already acquired such training.
Sri Lanka could take valuable lessons from developed countries when it comes to road safety, about how facilities are arranged for drivers to make sure they are well rested and paid. After all, they hold a significant responsibility for the lives of people. Investing in proper facilities and support systems for drivers is not just a matter of convenience, but a critical step towards safer roads. The final rites of veteran actress Malini Fonseca, widely recognised as the Queen of Sri Lankan cinema, will be performed with full state honours tomorrow at the Independence Square in Colombo. The remains of the eminent artist are currently laid in state at the National Film Corporation, with long queues formed near the premises to pay tribute to the veteran artist.
Sri Lankan cinema icon and veteran actress Malini Fonseca, widely regarded as the Queen of Sri Lankan cinema, passed away yesterday morning while receiving treatment at a private hospital. She was 78 years old at the time of her passing. Her remains were brought to her residence in Madivela yesterday evening for the public to pay their final respects. A diverse crowd including artists, filmmakers, politicians and cinema lovers visited her residence to honour the veteran actress. Many film enthusiasts gathered at her residence throughout the night and into the morning, with some profoundly shaken by the actress's passing. The remains of the late veteran actress, which had lain at her Madivela residence until 8:30 this morning, were brought to the National Film Corporation. The remains will lie in state at the Tarangani Hall of the National Film Corporation today, while the public will also be given an opportunity to pay their final respects tomorrow at the Independence Square. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya arrived at the Film Corporation to pay her last respects to the actress.
Malini
Fonseca is a legendary artist, highly celebrated not only in Sri Lanka but across the world. The entire country is mourning her loss. As a country, we should do our best to honour this true icon. A person like Malini Fonseca will never be born in this country again.
Former presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa also paid their final respects to the legendary actress.
Malini Fonseca is an actress who won the hearts of our people. The people are grieving over her loss. I believe Malini's demise will be a huge loss for us. In my opinion, there's nobody else who can replace her.
Former presidents Ranil Wickremesinghe and Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga also arrived at the premises to pay their final respects to the late actress. Leader of the Sarvajana Balaya parliamentarian Dilith Jayavira, along with several other public figures, arrived to pay their last respects to Malini Fonseca.
Malini Fonseca made a significant contribution to the film industry. People like her are not seen often, but quite rarely. Malini Fonseca is undoubtedly the Queen of Sri Lankan cinema. This marks the end of a wonderful era in the film industry. We should look for more people like Malini Fonseca, Vijay Kumartunga and even Gamini Fonseca. If not, this industry would collapse.
Additionally, artists, film directors and professionals from various fields arrived at the Tarangani Hall to pay their final respects to the Sri Lankan cinema icon.
එබඳු දක්ෂතාවක් තිබුණා. ඒ වගේ රංගන ශිල්පියක් හැබැයි අපේ ජීවිත කාලය තුල නැවත පහළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
මම හුඟක් සින්දු කියලා තියෙනවා. මාල්නිගේ චිත්‍රපටිවල මට ඒවට සම්මානත් ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා එතුමියට නිවන් සැපම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
එතුමිය රටක් හැටියට ජාත්‍යන්තරව අපිට ගෙන එන ලද ජාත්‍යන්තර කීර්තිනාමයන් ඒ ගෞරවයන් දේශ බලනකොට මම හිතනවා අපේ මහ දැවැන්ත බරක් ඔසවගෙන හිටපු කුළුණක් ගැලවි ඉදිරියලා වැටුණා කියලා ඒ පාඩුව අපිට දැනෙන්නේ.
එයා මන්ත්‍රීනිවරියක් වෙලා ඉන්නකොට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ડોક્ટર ලෙස්ටර් ජේම්ස් පීරිස් පදනම ඇති කරන්න මූලික වෙච්ච කෙනා තමයි මාල්නි අක්කා.
අපි එකට රංගපාවා බඹරුවේ විදින චිත්‍රපටයේ ඉතින් ඇගේ දක්ෂකම් මම හිතන්නේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ බඹරුවේ චිත්‍රපටයේ.
Large queues were formed near the Film Corporation premises this afternoon as large crowds flocked to pay their final respects to the Queen of Sri Lankan cinema. The final rites of veteran actress Malini Fonseca will be held with full state honours tomorrow at the Independence Square.
A video clip showing a Filipino tourist being assaulted by a Sri Lankan staff member at a surfing establishment in Waligama has surfaced online after being posted to the tourist's YouTube channel yesterday. However, Waligama police confirmed that the incident in question actually occurred on February 14th of last year. Legal proceedings are underway and the case is currently being heard at the Matara Magistrates Court. The next hearing is scheduled for September 11th.
Stop! Bro, what are you doing?
Welcome back to First at 9. Now, 91,785 tourists have arrived in Sri Lanka during the first 3 weeks of May this year. This month's record showcases an increase compared to the same period last year, which recorded 79,431 tourist arrivals.
A total of 988,669 tourists arrived in the island nation between the 1st of January and the 21st of May this year, compared to the same period last year, which saw 864,082 tourist arrivals. This year's figure represents an increase of 124,587 visitors. According to the latest statistics by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, the total number of tourist arrivals from the 1st to the 21st of May this year was recorded at 91,785. During the first week of this month, a total of 33,911 tourists arrived in the island nation, marking a significant increase from last year's figure of 28,526 during the same period. According to the weekly report of the SLTDA, India continued to be the top source market for tourism this month as well, with 31,635 Indian tourists arriving in Sri Lanka within the first 3 weeks of May. In the meantime, the United Kingdom surpassed Russia to become the second largest source market with 6,195 tourist arrivals, while China came in third with 6,043 arrivals during the first 3 weeks of this month. German, Bangladeshi, Australian and French tourists too touched down in large numbers within the same period.
That's all for tonight from First at 9. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.